We shaking the table. Oh, 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 yeah. Yeah. We shaking the table. Things done changed. Your democratic ways from back in the days ain't the same. We woke to the place, same agenda, new faces. It's a new day now, yeah, it's FBA. MELROSE might shut down now Sharpton's conference. Spoke for FBAs, called out the nonsense. Your agenda the target, we see that plain. No checks, no vote.
No check,
we
no
state that
vote.
plain. We see our moves, give immigrants our wage. Policy talk, we read between the page. Only reach out when you tryna get a dime. Delineation a must, we claim what's mine. We guard the culture, respect the base. Mike Larry, woo. How you feel?
Yeah. Yo, we waking up now. Y'all woke up the giant FBA all day. The endurance, the defiance, man, we got no friends. They frauds, no alliance, tell us wanna cosplay. We see it, no surprises, okay? Listen, can I speak just being honest? They are liars. They want our votes just to undermine us like we got on our blindness. FBA, the messiahs, man, we shutting the shit down. Our ancestors right behind us,
How you feel?
So here's the thing, y'all in trouble. Yesterday you had Al Green up here talking about we need a second.
Greetings, family. Welcome. This is the Africa Town Coalition. We are back for another podcast coming to you live from Morris Media Studios. And this time we got a little twist. In the past we've come to you strictly as an organization in the community fighting, for change, fighting against developers, fighting against police terrorism, and fighting some of the corrupt officials.
Yeah.
But this time we kind of switched it up and we actually threw our hat into the race to run for California's 55th Assembly District seat. So that is what we are coming to you today to talk about, give you an update on how this campaign has been going, what this campaign is about, some of the challenges we have faced with this campaign. Also, there are a number of other positions people are campaigning for, so we're going to look at some of that. And also, if any of you decide to chime in, let us know. But first and foremost, as I was saying, we are running for California's 55th Assembly District seat. And the reason why I keep saying we as opposed to me is because I'm not in this for, trying to switch up a career and become a politician. I'm in this because, as we have shared for the past several years, we had some reparation bills up about 2 years ago on the state level that it made it through a whole year of the process and it got down to the final vote. And our Black Caucus members decided to block those bills. And then last year, instead of bringing those bills back, they decided to further delay our reparations with a 3 to 5 year study. So after we chased them around for a year, we decided the only other option is to get them out of those seats. So specifically, we are going for Lion Isaac Bryan's seat, again, California Assembly seat. And what we are pushing is most definitely our reparations, but we are also pushing an anti-Black hate crime bill. As we see, they can push specific policies to protect other people, but yet every year, we are the number one targeted group, the number one recipients of hate crimes. So, unfortunately, with all the Black leadership we have right now, all of them have been ignoring the needs of our community. We see Black people being pushed out of the city, the county, the state at alarming rates. People are having, to relocate. Some folks are not able to relocate, and they are landing right here on the sidewalks in this city that we have contributed to, the city we have helped to build up, this city that is really running off the culture we have presented to it. So these are all things we are addressing with our campaign, and we are grateful for all the support we have been getting from the community. At first, a lot of people didn't know what type of support we would get, but based off of the work we have collectively done over the years, we have been getting a large turnout of support. So at this time, I'll fall back and see if anybody else want to chime in on what's been happening with our campaign and what we're doing.
Let's let Brandy, I guess, go.
Go ahead, Kev.
No, go ahead. Ladies first.
Well, shout out to the people out there. Much love to Morris Media Studios. First of all, thank y'all for having us. Billion Godson here. Again, like he said, we're running for state assembly seat for the 55th district. We know the egregious act that was committed upon the black community by the incumbent, the sitting incumbent. And we need some new blood in there, and this is the man for the job.
That's right.
Tried and true activist, stomped down, boots on the ground for decades now. I was campaigning for him recently out on a solo mission, and I handed the flyer to a sister, and she said, oh, I saw him standing up for Chef Maryland. So he got my vote. So, the word is out there. It's getting out there. This was a stranger that I met, and she had already been familiar with Billion and his works. So that's just one of many examples of the community works that this brother has been doing, has continued to do throughout this campaign. And we thank all of you for your support. Dewan B., thank you for all your support. Thought
That's
Crimes,
right.
thank you guys for all your support.
That's right.
All the individuals that signed the petition, everybody that we've come across in the field. We really appreciate the support. And even those that's not supporting so much, we see y'all too, and it's all good because, we understand that we on the right side of this reparations fight. We on the right side of fighting the good fight against racism. And we doing our part right here in Los Angeles, California. So just shout out to everybody that is doing this work across the nation. We see y'all. I heard the little the Melrose clip in that intro in the beginning. I thought that was cool, little addition. He recently followed me on social media. So we all are connected, and the gap is closing between regional differences and things of that nature. We do have the World Wide Web that has brought us all closer together, and that we're able to have these discussions and these conversations in a much more cohesive manner. And we out here, we doing the good work. Y'all go to billionis55.com, and June 2nd, look for that name on that ballot and cast your vote. William
right.
Campbell is his actual name, but it's going to be on there as Billion as well. So y'all just be on the lookout for that. And that's my little piece for right now. I'll be back, I'm sure, with another word in a minute.
I just want to respond to two things Brandy brought up. So in 2010, I actually began an initial campaign for mayor in Inglewood, but that only lasted about a month. I found somebody else I thought would follow through, toss it off to him, and he fell out. But a lot of the steps we have gone through with this campaign has pretty much been new to all of us. Brandy brought up the point that initially we had to get out there and get signatures of people to get on the ballot. You either get signatures or you pay a certain fee. But fortunately, we were able to get out there. A number of people in the community both signed a petition, other folks circulated the petitions, and we are grateful for that. But when this is all over, we do want to sit down and just more thoroughly break down all the different steps, because they do make this as challenging as possible for people to do this. If you're not coming out of like an academic background, or you aren't tied in with other people that you've helped them go through the process, then it can be confusing. When we went down to the LA County Registrar's office, we got the runaround. But this is something I believe more of us need to do, because what we have seen is a consistent type of person who gets into these offices, and that's why we see a lot of what we're seeing. There's a small circle that our politics really benefits. That's why we see the politicians connected to the nonprofits. The nonprofits do what they can to get support for the politician. The funding goes to the nonprofits. Some of that funding goes back to keep the politician in office. And that's why our larger community has been neglected. A second point Brandy brought up that I want to just address real quick. She brought up Chef Maryland. Oh, yeah. Now, this is also our 10th year of organizing as an Africa Town Coalition. Over the years, we started from addressing police terrorism. We started addressing our brothers and sisters who have been left unhoused. One of the first things that really got us a lot of recognition around the city, we had to battle a number of Korean merchants. And at one point, I think we were shutting down like 12 locations at one point. Yeah. And then later on, we had to go over there to the Crenshaw Plaza, and it was another 12 locations. And again, it was these merchants were abusing, especially our women. They were not hiring our people, and they weren't reinvesting. You know, they come and make a living off of us. They're buying homes, they're buying cars, they're sending their children through college, and they're not investing nothing back in our community, especially when you consider a lot of them are selling us poison, whether they're selling us alcohol, you know, they're selling us different cheap products and products that aren't good for us. That's right. So that is a battle we engaged in, and out of that, we were also able to get jobs. And then we also start finding different black businesses that needed help. So it just so happened in our 10th year, we were called to respond to one of our legacy businesses, Chef Maryland, who was in the middle of a crisis. And we'll probably get to this a little bit more later. But one of the things we know when we're walking in the right path, we see the incumbent. He actually teamed up with a billionaire, Tom Steyer, which we'll speak on more in a little bit. And they paid for a commercial with Doolin's. And, you know, a lot of folks hit me up after seeing that commercial. It's like, what they doing at Doolin's, why Isaac teamed up. But this Chef Maryland situation came to us. It wasn't something we were out there looking, how can we counter that? It just came to us. And fortunately, the community responded. Chef Maryland has bounced back from that situation. So again, this is why we encourage people to stand up. Sometimes it might not look like, you know, the road is clear, but once we get out here and start doing it, everything opens up and makes whatever's necessary happen for us.
Good. That's right. What's going on, Black family? I hope you guys have been paying attention to a lot of our actions. I got to say, just off the rip, I'm really proud that, you know, we've shown a lot of progress in terms of strengthening our relationships, not only with, you know, the community that we already are familiar with, but other communities as well. Mm-hmm. And just seeing the response from those other communities, it's almost like we should have been doing that a long time ago. Recently, we went over to the Ladera Heights civic meeting, I believe it's called. And again, we were met with a lot of support from people that you may know, you know, your aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas. They're all really concerned with why the problems that, you know, they feel are important aren't really being paid attention to, or why when someone who does have the power to get something done is met with that opportunity, they abstain, you know, like the incumbent. And that was a lot of the comments I was hearing during that meeting from all the people that decided to come, all of his constituents. So clearly, you know, the people are paying attention. It's just they need a little bit more direction as to how to get things done or how to get their voices heard. And so I'm really proud of us for being that medium for everybody, you know, and I wish, you know, a lot more people just get involved with us and come around and, you know, get more comfortable and make it a routine to show up for yourself and show up for the team.
So again, this is the Get Out Our Seat anti-black hate crime campaign. We are pushing for our reparations, and now that Donald Trump is talking about reparations for his folks, it's no more excuses why folks can't address reparations for us. Exactly. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get into some of the dirt that has been happening in opposition to this campaign.
Shaking the table.
Should we pause it right?
We shaking the table, things done changed. Your democratic ways from back in the days ain't the same. We woke to the place, same agenda, new faces. It's a new day now, yeah.
All right, LA, this is your brother Billion. March 25th of this year, 123 nations declared the transatlantic slave trade and racialized chattel slavery as the gravest crime against humanity, which includes the black erasure that's happening in real time across America today. So why is Assemblyman Isaac Bryan and the California Legislative Black Caucus ignoring this reality? For 3 years now, Isaac and the CLBC have refused to move forward real reparation bills for descendants of people who were emancipated from U.S. chattel slavery. That's not what our ancestors fought and died for. Voting for a lesser evil? Nah, evil is evil. People are being forced out of LA by the thousands, while Isaac and many elected officials focus on policies to fund their nonprofits. June 2nd, vote for the anti-black hate crime campaign to end the Zionist coup of American politics and economics. Vote for Billion. Visit billionaires55.com for more information. Paid for by the committee to elect William Billion Campbell for California Assembly District 55.
All right. So that's the campaign ad that's running on KJLH. Big ups to KJLH.
Yep.
And so now we're going to get into some of the bad and ugly. You know, for years we've been in the streets, like I said, on the grassroots level, organizing against a lot of the foolishness, irresponsibility, despicability, and betrayal that has happened from a lot of our black misleadership. But now that we have actually officially got into a position to challenge them, to yank them out them seats, they've been exposing their dirty hands. Like I said, initially, when we were going to the LA County Registrar's office, we were getting the runaround. As folks were helping us with the paperwork, we'll leave, call us the next day, oh, you forgot this. No, we didn't forget this. You forgot that. For forgetting or neglecting to have us completely fill out certain portions of the paperwork that were necessary. There's been some financial challenges in the background that we'll get into a little bit more after this campaign. But more recently, well, let me not say more recently, I think back in January, we were approached by another candidate. So right now, there's an incumbent, there is a white Republican running, there's us, and back in January, we were we were approached and introduced to a fourth opponent. And at that time, this opponent and their campaign manager were asking us to do some public forums with them. And we didn't feel it would necessarily be in our best interest for us to set up a forum, bring community there and introduce them to one of our opponents. That just didn't make no sense to us. So that was January. Then I think again, probably around March, they approached us a second time. So the first time they came to the weekly food giveaway we've done every Sunday for the past 10 years now. We most definitely want to thank Food Revolution LA because they've taken it from just a community potluck to now we're working with different stores that are providing food to where we're giving out groceries every Sunday now. But our opponent and their campaign manager came to that food giveaway in January. They came back, I believe it was in March. And after their visit in March, we kind of considered it. So at one point, Kevin called their campaign manager and, basically wanted to find out what they're talking about, how we could possibly collaborate. And in that conversation, after Kevin asked, what are y'all bringing to the table, this nut blew up and immediately began yelling at Kevin, disrespecting Kevin. Kevin had the phone on speaker, so we were able to hear it. And after maybe 60 seconds of that, we realized the person was actually standing behind us. We were in Africatown. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of folks know the alley where we used to have late night shows. And we realized the person that just walked out of one of the establishments. Kevin, asked him to come over to the car, but as he started walking towards the car, he appeared as though he wanted to fight. Yeah. So our brother Kalego hopped out the car to intercept him. He toned it down for a second, but then he, picked it back up, continued to disrespect. And then finally, him and Kevin got into a few exchanges. And the next thing we know, they go back on social media and they have now completely flipped it as though we were coming for them. We were attacking and insulting them. And that social media campaign they were running went on for about a month. Then finally, at the beginning of this month, we had a candidates forum that was hosted by Equa. During that forum, this individual was even commenting during the forum, again, trying to insinuate we were the ones stalking them and coming for them. And I briefly addressed it during the forum, and that was on a Saturday. Then the next day was a Sunday again, where we do our food giveaway. And this individual, same individual, brought a child to our food giveaway. The location he knew we would be at, the time he knew we would be there, on the side of the street he knew we would be on. So again, we clearly know he was looking for us. And that time, this individual then began to basically attack me, try to bait me into a fight. And let me just go back to the first time I realized the game plan was to try to trigger us into responding and fighting them. And then go back as they did on social media. But had we physically responded, they would have blown it up even more. So this time I already knew the game, so I kind of sat back and watched for a second. Then I put him, I broke out my camera and I put him on video, and the video's on our social media page. But this went on for several minutes. Some of the people, you know, we give groceries to every Sunday were there. Some of our vendors were there. And once he saw, so at one point he stated, "When Billion is killed, I will be the reason." He said it 3 times. "When Billion is killed, I will be the reason. When Billion is killed, I will be the reason." And he saw the expressions on some of our volunteers' faces. He then put his camera on them and said, "Okay, I'm going to get all of y'all too, so my people will know who to come get." So clearly making threats. And at one point I told people, again, were I to touch him, he will call the police. Seconds after he leaves, police drive by. And then about 30 minutes after he left, police are gone. I get a call that he is now back in the village, but this time he's over where the market is, just around the corner from us, with a sword on his back and telling people he's going to slice me up. So I think at that point you finally came over and said you saw him. So by the time we get over to the village, he had left. So we put the information out there. Folks saw the video. A number of people responded saying they knew both him and the candidate he's supposed to be the campaign manager for. Gave us a lot of information. Some folks confirmed that this is a pattern of behavior for him. And, you know, we put it out there. And then a little over a week ago, we find out, before I get there, one of our brothers did research and found that this individual actually worked on Tom Steyer's campaign back in 2020. So now we're connecting the dots because the incumbent is running as with Tom Steyer. That's who I said they had the commercial with Doolin's. Right now, there's a couple papers where the California Legislative Black Caucus are running an ad with Tom Steyer. So Tom Steyer is with the Black Caucus who blocked our reparations. Even though he's talking reparations, he's with the Black Caucus who is blocking our reparations out here. And this nutcase who is supposed to be the campaign manager of one of our opponents is also connected to Tom Steyer. So a little over a week ago, Tom Steyer comes to he's brought to Africatown by Senator Lola Smallwood Cuevas and the organization she founded, the LA Black Workers Center. And we knew that couldn't fly without us confronting him and demanding what his relationship is with this nutcase who has made threats of killing people, who has brought a sword into our community to further intimidate people. So when Tom Steyer arrives to the village, he actually goes into the back of the venue, so we weren't able to confront him. We had planned on confronting him before he went in. And we were in the front of it, several folks, made some noise to educate people who had come. Finally, the owner of the establishment came out, talked to us, and said, you know what? I didn't know anything about this dude. I'm going to go ahead and shut this event down. He told us he would give them 5 minutes. He went back inside. In about 5-10 minutes, the event was shut down. So at that point, we saw Tom Steyer appearing as though he was about to exit through the back, same way he came in. So we went around. He hurried up and hopped into his vehicle. We confronted him, again, trying to demand what it is he knows about this individual who is, again, making threats, bringing swords, trying to intimidate people. And there's another video out there. And it's been all types of twists put into this video. At no point did any of us pull a knife. None of us had a knife. At one point, the police were called when we were in front of the establishment. Police came, probably in 5 or 10 minutes left. No one was arrested. They didn't take any type of reports. So whatever this is about a knife, don't know. I never saw a knife. But yeah, this video has gone super viral. And again, we've seen some people, support our actions. We see some people who were neutral, and we see some people who were against. But again, there's no way we're going to allow anyone to be connected to someone who is, again, threatening our community. It wasn't just me he threatened. Again, like I said, he put the camera on volunteers, women who were there, and was threatening them. So when we find out that there's a billionaire financing someone like this, yes, we're going to question them. And again, he's also in alignment with the same Black Caucus members who have blocked and delayed our reparations. And in the past, he also had a $90 million investment in prisons. So I'm going to fall back. Anyone want to chime in on that or anything else that's been happening?
Let me jump in real quick because I missed the first round. So, yes, that's a lot there, And so I just want to come back just a little bit because, we talked about a lot. Billion, of course, has been, leader of Africa Town for the 10 years that we've been in existence since, 2016. And, when we came out, we hit the streets, because a lot of our people were being murdered and stuff like that on the streets, and so it was just like a serious effort, and sometimes I think right now to where we began and where we are now. We have challenged a lot of politicians, and so today we are going to, hopefully get, not hopefully, we're going to get this individual out of this position, the Assembly District 55 position, and we're going to make sure Billion Godson takes that position because we need new leadership in the 55th. The incident that day with Tom Steyer, first of all, let me say Africa Town is our political backyard. That's our political arena right there. That's our political backyard right there. So when you come into Africa Town, just like one of the senators said, she knew that there was a possibility that somebody was going to step up because we in Africa Town and our constituency does not agree with the agenda of Tom Steyer. And I don't know if I should say her name.
I'll just make a correction right there. She didn't say somebody. She said specifically Africa Town would protest. So she knew she was doing something that would
made
draw
the distinction from the area and the group. She said in
Africa Town specifically.
In Leimert Park, we knew Africa Town would be there. So she's trying to make the distinction.
Well, thank you for that, because I didn't know what to hold out and what not to. But anyway, so, yeah. So, I mean, you know what? Bottom line is this is our political backyard. This is where we do our work at. So anybody that comes into the area, you know what I'm saying, you really got to come respectfully. But if you are an enemy, you have seen as an enemy outside of the community already, then yeah, you're going to be challenged. So one of the things that the individual who threatened Billion at the farmers, our giveaway, our food giveaway, and who also threatened me in the alley. This individual has had a couple of contracts with Tom Steyer in the 20s, in 2020, when Tom Steyer was running for president. So he's already on the payroll. We already got that confirmed. You can follow the money. He's already on the payroll. Okay, so that's one connection right there. Then you have the other individual who stabbed the black family in the back on August 31st, 2024 in Sacramento on the last day of the legislative, session. he's also working hand in hand with Tom Steyer. So we got this triangle going on, you know. So the bottom line is that, you know, the freedom of the grassroots people is under attack. Okay, they're under attack, and you know it's a billionaire who is financing, you know, this attack against the grassroots. You see, and so Billion Godson, you know what I'm saying, who is running for Assembly District 55, you know, he's that champion, y'all. He's that champion. He's already demonstrated over 10 years plus, you know, like 15, 20 years that he stands up for the people, and he puts his everything out there, not just his words, but he puts his action and he puts his body. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had a number of cases. We've gone up against the police and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this back over. But I just wanted to get a couple of things out because this has been an incredible experience. You know, getting into politics at this level has been really, really, really educational. I've learned a lot. And I continue. I'm gonna learn some more. And you know, we've just we've come so far. You know, and so a lot of people have criticized us in the past for not having this, not having that, or for doing this, for doing that, or having these stands. But hey, you know what? In the end of the day, it's all about the work that you do and where you are standing when it's most important. And in this time, we standing where we're supposed to be. Thank you.
Real quick, I just want to shout out Miss Toy and the lovely Radio Soul for checking in. Miss Toy has been a major support for us, major support for Chef Marilyn. Came all the way from Vegas a little over a week ago to represent at the fundraisers for Chef Marilyn, but had also come out here prior to that on the streets for Chef Marilyn. So big ups to you, and thank you for chiming in.
Yeah.
Just want to give y'all, going back to Tom Steyer, give y'all some research references, you know, reference points, so that way y'all can go back home and do your own homework, because that's something we always encourage you guys to do. Don't just take our word for it. Go back and learn for yourself, so that way you can teach other people. When it comes to Tom Steyer's investment into private prisons as well as ICE detention centers, because both of those are two different, distinct entities that, you know, people are used to, or people are incarcerated in, especially our people. One investment or the business would be called Core Civic. Now, Core Civic was established through a hedge fund that Tom Steyer is still a client of, by the way, right now, called Farallon. If I'm saying that right, yeah, Farallon Capital. And although he's, you know, addressed his prior investment and said he divested, still being a client with the same hedge fund, you have to kind of wonder why and what's going on and what he's done with that money. A lot of people, too, just in personal conversation, are very unaware of this investment, you know, history of his. And a lot of people more so would point out different business ventures of his, like having a, what's that, like a credit union, I believe he established that was, for, you know, in North Carolina, I believe, and that was, you know, notably giving loans to black residents over there. But again, when it comes to California, I myself am totally unfamiliar with him, you know, and so, like I said, I encourage you all to research into who he is and what other investments, and all the other candidates too, because if now hasn't shown you, when election time comes around, you end up finding out there are a lot more people, you know, with the intention of controlling our daily life, you know, through this authority that these people get and get voted into. Real quick, tomorrow will be a governance reform task force meeting. That's the entity that the county made in order to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. Recently, in the last supervisor board meeting, they approved an ethics committee, which was recommended by that governance reform task force. So tomorrow they're going to have a meeting over in Downey at the Women's Club, or you can join them digitally. They're actually inviting the county controller. A lot of you guys are familiar with the city controller, Champion Kenneth Mejia, but this is the county controller, Oscar Valdez. And so he's going to explain what he does and what you guys need to be aware of when it comes to the county budget, or when it comes to the, you know, state budget. We do have $52.5 million to allocate in different areas, and it looks like the County Board of Supervisors is increasingly decreasing the homelessness funding, and so something needs to be said about that.
Definitely.
Anything for the drama?
Not so much on that, but I think you guys covered it. But well, I'll touch on it a bit. Again, Africatown is known for standing on business. You know, we give grand closings. We are going to push up in the warrior spirit when necessary, but we won't be vilified and lied on either. So, certain politicians, they know what they're doing. They know that they are running a sellout agenda, and that we're going to stand up against that every time. We're not going to let people come in our village and threaten our lives, our safety, and then your backer come and just slide through the village unscathed or unquestioned. And that goes for anybody who violates, the black family. We're going to address you publicly, and in this format as well, to let the rest of the black community know what's going on right here in Los Angeles. Like you said, this dude is connected to a puppet master. We've connected the dots. We've figured it out. We're not this wild bunch of ignorant individuals. I think that's a misconception about us. We've had some individuals, some politicians tell us that, we didn't understand our different branches of government. And that's fine to underestimate Africatown, but here we are, with a running person here, a candidate, for state assembly, and we're gonna get right. Lion Brian up out of that seat. But also want to put out there to the public that this is a physical sacrifice that we hope that you guys can respect and acknowledge that factor, that element of it. This is not a walk in the park, so to speak. This is Billion putting life and limb on the line, as we've always done, with the works that we do. But the stakes are higher now. So you have somebody coming around saying, when this happens, I'll be responsible, as if this is something that is in motion. So that is very alarming to us. We have to keep our eyes peeled and keep our security tight, and just be knowing that Africatown is going to, continue to stand on business at all times. And we will let no harm come to this brother, and we will let no foul play go unchecked against the black community, and especially if you guys think that you're going to visit our village, our community, where we are at, majority of our time in the city. And that is for those that are not familiar, if you guys are watching from another space, Africatown, also known as Lamert Park, we call it Africatown. Shout out to B. Hall, our good elder, who put that initiative forward to change that name from a racist white man's name, because Lamert was a racist white man who had a covenant in that community to not even allow black folks to own homes over there. So ironically, we are the majority in that community at this point, and I hope he's rolling in his grave in maggots. But anyway, certain code of conduct has got to be adhered to in the village, and then amongst those who plan to visit the village. And for our elected officials, again, community, we got to remember they work for us. It's not the other way around. They don't get to boss around the constituents. We tell them what we want, and we hold them accountable. And so that's what we're doing out here. And, we have a candidate here that's going to be accountable, who's actually doing a lot of the works that the politicians are supposed to do, housing the homeless, standing up against police brutality, fighting for black people to get jobs and to stay employed, things of that nature. All of the things that these organizations get funding to do and are hired and elected to do, and sometimes fail to do. So once again, y'all, let's get Billion in that seat. William Campbell, June 2nd, get out there, exercise your vote. A lot of times we talk to people, they say, well, I don't want to vote, I don't vote. And we understand that sentiment, and we understand why you don't vote. But this is a time to vote. Just like we rose up in 2008, and although he became a disappointment, but for Obama, we all figured it was worth a damn shot. A lot of people came out of the woodworks just to vote for that man in 2008. So some of y'all that don't usually vote, this is the one time that you should vote. And if you do vote regularly, please exercise your vote to get a proper black man in that seat who we know is going to do the right thing.
That's right.
So we're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back and look at some of the other candidates running in different positions. And again, you could chime in if you're watching this on YouTube. If you see it on Instagram, go ahead and leave a comment. You know, tell us who you're looking at for governor, mayor, or whatever. But we'll be right back.
LA, this is your brother Billion. March 25th of this year, 123 nations declared the transatlantic slave trade and racialized chattel slavery as the gravest crime against humanity, which includes the black erasure that's happening in real time across America today. So why is Assemblyman Isaac Bryan and the California Legislative Black Caucus ignoring this reality? For 3 years now, Isaac and the CLBC have refused to move forward real reparation bills for descendants of people who were emancipated from U.S. chattel slavery. That's not what our ancestors fought and died for. Voting for a lesser evil? Nah, evil is evil. People are being forced out of L.A. by the thousands, while Isaac and many elected officials focus on policies to fund their nonprofits. June 2nd, vote for the anti-black hate crime campaign to end the Zionist coup of American politics and economics. Vote for Billion. Visit billionaires55.com for more information. Paid for by the committee to elect William Billion Campbell for California Assembly District 55.
All right. So we are back, and now we're just going to switch it up for a minute and look at some of the other candidates running for different positions. You know, we've basically explained what our campaign is. I think probably the most unique campaign in all of the elections, not just here in Los Angeles, up and down the state, and even probably across the country. Again, you know, we're an actual organization that has been doing the work, and, you know, we're going in there for a specific agenda. Again, not just to become the next official in that seat. So something that's very unique here in Los Angeles or even in the state, I'm not sure if it's happening in other areas, but at one point we had over 80 people running for governor. I think that has dropped down to maybe about 60 people or so. It's like several pages in the ballot for, you know, different options. Somebody named Obama is running. And then even on the city level, we had at one point over 40 different candidates running. I'm not sure how many that has dropped down to, but I guess just briefly we'll pitch in any ideas we may have. So as far as governor, the primary ones who they talk about is this Chad Bianco, Hilton, and then those are the Republican choices, and then there's Tom Steyer, who we just spoke about. There's Becerra. There's Villaraigosa, who used to be the mayor of Los Angeles. And I can't think of too many other ones, but one of the primary write-in candidates most people are speaking about is Butch Ware. So I'll personally just go from the Republican candidates. Of course, you know, that's looking all bad. One of them, a sheriff. Both of them saying no to reparations. Tom Steyer, of course, he's saying reparations. However, this is a billionaire who we've already pointed out at one point had a $90 million investment in private prisons and detention centers, who has yet to make any type of real investment in our communities. Again, this is something Trump has recently pulled their card on, as he has come with this slush fund for his insurrectionists. But yet, you know, we can barely get these people to talk about reparations. The most they want to talk about is a study. Tony Thurman, that's one I forgot. He is, I think, the only black candidate who is a front runner out there that we are aware of. He's talking reparations, but I'm not familiar with him doing anything to this point, you know, for our community, to move our community forward. And it took me a good while to think about what I would do. Would I just leave that blank? I for sure not considering no lesser evil. There's no such thing as a lesser evil. While they constantly have us afraid of what all this one might do, too many of our people keep voting this one in, and then that one come in, and it harms us just as much. It might be a little more gradual, but the overall effect, like we're seeing in Los Angeles, is devastating our community. So what I looked at that finally got me to my option is my peer group of people who are doing work for the community, and it looks like the majority of them are going to write in Butch Ware. I had a couple personal things that kind of made me hesitant to support him. One particular was last year when the whole ICE situation was happening, and he basically said those of us in the black community who chose to not engage in running out there protecting or fighting against ICE, we were ignorant. And, I took a lot of offense to that because I quite often see him raise up Palestine, immigration, and a lot of other things over what's happening in our communities right now. We're being erased, wiped out, and not too many of them really want to address this. But I figured of all the more terrible options, that is a much smaller thing. And I see even our brother Chris Lotson from CJEC is endorsing him. So I am going to go ahead and write his name in. Does anyone else have anything to chime in as far as governor?
I mean, yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, yeah, you got to pay attention to real resolve. And that was like a conversation I had with one of our associates when we were talking about Tom Steyer. I asked, like, what is his resolve? And they were totally unfamiliar. And so, excuse me. And so it pays to be aware, it pays to be a lot more aware than just feel comfortable with the same okey doke of, yeah, let's just choose the lesser evil. Like Billion has said, yeah, there is no lesser evil, especially when you have all these people literally running for those one office. You know what I'm saying? So we've been at this point too many times to keep doing the same thing, and it looks like a lot of our power is gonna literally have to be in an independent approach. So if you have to write somebody in, go ahead and do that. Don't look for what everybody else is doing to make yourself feel better about making the choice. Because we're not in that plane. We're not in those playing grounds anymore. When it comes to Africatown, it isn't just our political background; it's our home. There are a lot of different parts of Africatown that need to be respected and need to be acknowledged. So yeah.
And two, what Billion was speaking about with the slush fund thing, that is proof right there. The American government pull out billions and trillions of dollars whenever they feel like it. So it's not a matter of, do we have the money and, well, where are we going to get it? We print the damn money. What do you mean, where are we going to get it? The same place everybody else got it, from the U.S. government that owes it to us. These organizations, these corporations, these large entities who got their start from slaves. Okay? We ain't even about to keep arguing that where we gonna get it from. If you anti-reparations, you just a sellout on my list. That's just the bottom line. And that's the majority of the people that we have the sitting incumbents are anti-reparation, and most of them are not Black Americans to begin with. And that's a big problem right there. And that's why they don't identify with the need for reparations, like we know there is. And like every other group has gotten, who haven't even been through half the things that Black Americans have gone through and are still going through. So we know that the funds are there, so that's why we have to keep on pushing forward, and we're going to continue to do so. The days are over of just vote blue, no matter who. The new Black constituency has awakened.
That's right.
This is no longer a game, and these people are feeling it left and right, coast to coast. And I'm proud of the Black family for standing on 10 toes, standing on business. And I think that these politicians are getting a rude awakening. They got to be at home at night talking to their spouse about how they're getting ran up out of spaces left and right.
And we've unofficially created an anti-reparations collection fund. So if you don't want reparations, if you're anti-reparations, we have the center fund for you to send your reparations to, and we will hold them for you and utilize them.
That's right. And that's for real. And, I just want to say real quick, though, it's like about that slush fund, you know what I'm saying? It's like that slush, it takes a leader that's willing to just do what needs to be done. Okay, we can talk about all the other fluff stuff and all that, but if you have a leader that's willing to just say, "Hey, you know what? Bam, I'm going to do this." Woo, bop, bop. So as the assembly person for Assembly District 55, Billion is going to fight for that. He's going to make sure that that legislation that needs to be brought forward is going to be brought forward. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be. We're not. Oh, see, Tom Steyer is a billionaire. He's a part of the billionaire structure, the political structure of California. You know what I'm saying? That's just all it is to it. Every state has it, and he's a part of that. So he's not the regular people. He's not just the regular people. Yeah, he comes to black neighborhoods and so forth to tap dance and get that good feel, and you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, he's bad for this state.
You didn't see the one where he's appropriating even L.A. Chicano culture. He's got like the long socks, you know what I mean? The long socks, the down or the full or something like that or whatever. So he cosplays just like another candidate running for Assembly District 55. When he comes to the village, he wears red, black, and green shoes, almost like, yeah, man, I'm just like you guys. And it's really nasty. It's really ugly.
Just like Brandy said, the days of pandering is over.
Over and done. These people
Days
getting
of
ran out of the
pandering
village
is
left
over.
and right. I just ain't posted some of that footage of that person that wear them red, black, and green sneakers getting ran out of the village. Wait till I'm gonna get to it. But we've been doing the work left and right since forever, since, like we said, for over a decade now in general. But this new awakening that the black Americans have received within the last couple of years is contagious. We doing our part for sure right here, coming straight up out of South Central. So just
That's right.
let y'all know that for sure. We gonna continue to hold it down. We see y'all coast to coast doing your thing. Like I said, people like Melrose on the East Coast. Brothers in the South. Shout out to African Diaspora News Channel, Demetria K. Thank you so much for shining your light and putting the highlight on the works that Brother Billion is doing, the works that the Africatown Coalition is doing, and highlighting the neglect that our elected officials have been placing upon us. So we really appreciate those other channels and everybody that's been supporting the works that we're doing here, and we'll continue to support y'all too. Appreciate that.
So real quick, I just want to bring up two other candidates that I will be supporting before we get to a conversation on mayor. But former Senator Stephen Bradford, he is running for insurance commissioner. So if you see him on your ballot, please vote for him. He is the only, when he was a state senator, he was the only member of the Black Caucus who had enough courage to resist Governor Gavin Newsom trying to kill his bills, and he held ground. He held two bills, one to establish a Freedmen Affairs Agency, and a second bill calling for California to use a percentage of the state's emergency fund to start building a bank account to pay us. But even while he was a member of the California Reparations Task Force, first and foremost, he's the one that suggested on the low end, payments should look like $350,000 each, because that is the wealth gap between the average black person, the average freeman, and the average white person. But the task force calculated that payment should go up to $1.2 million each, depending on all the different experiences we've had in our lifetime, as we trace our lineage, look at the different experiences our ancestors had, and so forth. But it was also highlighted the number of institutions that built their wealth from the enslavement of our ancestors, including the banks, insurance companies. So as insurance commissioner, he wants to raise up something that a lot of people know very little bit about, but there was actual, I forget what exactly was established in the insurance commission, but basically making our insurance companies that operate in California reveal their role in slavery. So as insurance commissioner, he will move that forward. He's looking at ways they could, repair the harm that was done. So most definitely vote for him. Also, there is Chris Martin. He's running here on the city level in Council District 9. That is a historically black district, but for the first time in 60 years, There are no black candidates who are officially on the ballot. So similar to Butch Ware, you will have to write his name in. But we've known Chris Martin for several years. He is an attorney. He has regularly represented families whose loved ones were killed by police. So he's not going in there with that same profile of a lot of the rest of these sellouts. He's going in there as a fighter. He's a smooth operator, but he's a fighter. He's an attorney who has held his ground. So if you are in that area and you can vote for Council District 9, please write in Chris Martin. You can look up his social media accounts, again, to see not just what he's been doing the past few months for campaigning, but for the past several years, like I said, representing families who have been harmed by police violence. That laugh was not for that. That laugh I had the thought about. Just real quick, any comments as far as mayor?
As far as the
Candidates running for mayor.
Oh, people running for mayor.
Ooh, that's a hot topic right there. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Well, I want to comment real quick on CD9 before you move on to the mayor conversation. That's extremely important, guys. For all these years, CD9 has been run by a black elected official. Now, unfortunately, our brother Curran Price is in some legal trouble at this point in his career, and he has decided to kind of hand his position off to a Hispanic person. So that's problematic for us, being already at a low percentage in the city, and to lose that seat would be possibly devastating. Actually, not even beyond problematic. Mm-hmm. We need to keep that black lid as long as possible. So unfortunate that Curran Price made that move. I think that he has done some good things for the community, but he's found himself in trouble, like a lot of our black elected officials do, trying to do illegal things that they see their colleagues, non-black colleagues, doing that they get away with, and we see that, no, you guys are going to catch a case. You know, but Mark Ridley Thomas still running around, so maybe Curran Price won't really have to do no time. However, write in Chris Martin, otherwise CD9 is going to Mexicans. Now off to mayor. Go ahead.
Well, shout out our sister Maheen watching. Just to add to what you were pointing out about Curran Price, a few years ago when those leaked tapes came out and we heard Nuri Martinez, Kevin De Leon, there was a third council member, and then there was the head of the L.A. Federation. One of the things that was revealed in those conversations was that they said when Curran Price over CD9 was going against Marquise Harris Dawson and CD8 as far as the redistricting process, they got behind and favored Curran Price because they said basically there are tax generators like the I don't even call it the Staples Center. What's it called now?
The SoFi. Oh, the
Crypto
arena. SoFi Stadium, things like that generate a lot of tax revenue for whatever district they're in. But I believe in that particular battle, they were looking at the Coliseum. They were looking at that bank arena that's there now, I think, for soccer and different things like that. But they said they made sure they got into Curran Price's district because they knew they were about to take that district over. And lo and behold, what does Curran Price do? He endorses a Latino. So again, we see where our blackness leadership collaborates. It's not something that's just happened, but they are collaborating in our erasure. So most definitely, again, please consider Chris Martin in that race, and we get back to the mayor.
And that is to the detriment of the future. Kev and I were traveling this morning, and we looked at it looked like an elementary school field trip. One black child. Coming from
50.
At about 50 children. One black child. Only one. We could count her. It was one black girl in the whole school, this whole field trip. It looked like about a second grade class. That's the future of Los Angeles. So the numbers that we do have, we need to be holding on to them. Mm-hmm. So things like that Curran Price did, and now he of course he's an elder. He's gonna be sleeping in his grave by the time that one black girl grows up, and she was the only black girl in her class. You know, and I feel bad for that little girl. Now on to the mayor's race, we have Bass. A lot of people are looking for her to resign as well. The homelessness here is out of control. She's totally ignored her black constituency here, and she definitely ain't getting my vote. You have
Spencer Pratt.
Spencer Pratt. We seen some people putting up some of his signs this morning. Another a rich guy, and other
And
than
I just
that,
want to be clear because, I think it was last week, almost a week ago, we went over to basically the 60s hood. And he showed up over there. He brought out some food trucks, tacos mail, a barbecue truck, an ice cream truck. And when we heard about it, we wanted to go. Our brother, General Abron the Great, is from over there. One of our founding members, Mac Capone, rest in power, is from over there. Mm-hmm. Another one of our members, Nicolo the Assassin, rest in power. He was from over there. And our brother, Eagle, Sergeant of Arms, he was from over there. So when we hear just like something happening in Africa Town, surrounding areas, Inglewood, we go. Because, again, all of these areas are part of our community.
Right.
And that's basically what we went there for, to find out what he had to say, given the opportunity to question his position on reparations, to bring up some of the other issues like we've talked about here today, to see what his response would be to that. But by no means was that, we went over there to endorse him, to say we're voting for him. Again, we're still in the process ourselves looking to who we may or may not support as far as getting into these positions. But anyone else as far as him or anyone else?
I was going to say, other than that, you got a sister that I know, Tish Hyman, is running for mayor. She's running on protecting women's rights and also on I won't say anti-homelessness, but cleaning up the homeless situation here in Los Angeles and basically eliminating Skid Row as we know it and getting these people more resources. So she's another mayoral candidate, a black woman, progressive, younger than I think some of the other candidates. So, shout out to Tish and her efforts. And
want to shout out Jesse Paris 5280, certified B1 salute from Denver, Colorado, says he supports Billion Godson against punk-ass Isaac Bryan. We most definitely salute you, brother. Thank you for
That's right.
tapping in with us. Anyone else for us as mayor before we go to the last break?
As far as the mayor stuff, just pay attention right now what's going on. Pandering has gotten digital. As you see, Spencer Pratt has been heavily using AI. Other campaigning as far as like the mayor is concerned, you need to pay attention to Nithya Raman because, previously she was alongside with Karen Bass, and now she's running against her. Other people for the mayor, let me see, what's that? We got, who else is running mayor? Is that
Ray Huang. Ray
Ray
Huang has
Huang,
actually
yeah.
worked with us pretty much since 2020. Several years she supported our winter survival program, our Sunday food giveaway. Everyone knows the last Sunday of every month. Downtown Crenshaw provides over 100 produce bags. She has on occasion showed up to help with that. So she is the one candidate we know a little bit better who has actually been supporting our work. Outside of that,
is she on the ballot?
Yeah. Ray Huang is actually
Huang.
on the ballot.
Okay. So,
But outside of that, I'm not familiar with Brother Mike. You know anybody else that's running?
So, the only thing that I would say about the mayor's race is that take a look at the candidates, right? Because a lot of people say Karen Bass, no, she got to go. But let's look at the replacements, okay? Kwong, that she might be a good replacement, you know what I'm saying? Pratt, I definitely say is not a good replacement. Because you have to ask yourself, one of the political agendas of African Town Coalition is helping to rescue, and some people might not like that term, but hell, you got people out there, man, that need some serious assistance still. And so throughout our 10 years, we have housed hundreds of peoples. We have housed hundreds of homeless, you know what I'm saying? We have fought that battle with LASA, with the city council, when they got that $1 billion for XXX and X. You know what I'm saying? We were fighting that battle from the grassroots, but unfortunately you got the machine and you got nonprofits who are already in place, and they decided, since they were already playing the political game, that they would go ahead and just like slice up that $1 billion. And they did a very good job of that. I am not saying that they did not do some good work and house some homeless, and they did do some work, but it took $1 billion. We did it for you know, way less. You know what I'm saying? Way
hopes and
less.
dreams, let me
So
tell
look at Pratt, right? Because he's a Republican, and Donald Trump. I got to say this here. Donald Trump has looked at him. You see what I'm saying? And when Donald Trump looks at you, and you got to decide whether you're gonna tap dance. Okay, so my personal belief, you understand what I'm saying, and you know everybody doesn't embrace this within the crew, but my personal belief is that he gets in the office. One, he's going to wage a war against the homeless. The majority of the homeless are black folks out here still in L.A. You know what I'm saying? They went and they did some work on the streets, and they like, oh, you know, we smashed on MacArthur Park and so forth. Yeah, MacArthur Park was ridiculous. Okay, we don't have parks in our community like that. Okay, I can't name
don't
not
allow
one
that.
park in our community like that.
Like MacArthur.
Okay, so I mean that's just an
I will
eyesore.
say our founding 10 years ago, our park was kind of getting like that, but it was through our work that
That's right.
you know, we have gotten back to a community.
And we didn't have millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, task forces, and all of that. We just had the will of the people, the will of Africatown Coalition. Our brother here, who's a leadership, you know, part of leadership, you know what I'm saying, moving this here forward, you know. So I'm just saying, Spencer Pratt, you know, when he was asked, what are you going to do with the homeless? He says, he said, all the homeless has a home, and they have somewhere to go. In addition to that, he said, you're all on drugs. And if you don't get some drug treatment, I'm going to put you back in one of our facilities. And then the man said, well, where you going to get the facilities? Where you going to put the facilities at? He said, well, I'm going to put it on federal property. And then it's like, well, where you going to get the federal property at? He said, don't worry, I'm going to get that. You know what I'm saying? So we're just saying, you know, there is no lesser of the two evils. It's evil.
Historically.
When the little evil get an opportunity, he becomes the big evil.
Historically, California has not been taken care of by celebrities. Ronald Reagan axed the mental health program that Jimmy Carter had, you know, laid out before his presidency ended. As soon as Ronald Reagan came in, he axed that program, mental health. Arnold Schwarzenegger killed Tookie Williams, somebody he knew personally. Who else do we got? Freaking, who else was it? What was the last celebrity that we had running?
Celebrity?
Yeah. No celebrity. Yeah, and
Well,
historically.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, I thought was the last one.
Yeah, I mean, well, just in general, just with America alone, celebrities have not historically not been able to take care of us. So we should always just keep that in mind when it comes to somebody who with a prior history of being a celebrity or being an entertainer.
Right.
You know, when it comes to taking care of the people, it's not the road to drive down.
It's all an act.
So I think with Mayor, basically what we're saying is to pray on it, ask God, Allah, Jesus for some direction, and remember, you don't have to vote for all the positions. If it's an option that you can't see happening, then go ahead and leave it. We're going to take one last break, and then we're going to come back and close out. But again, we thank all of y'all that's watching right now and sharing your comments.
That's right.
Shaking the table. Oh, 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 yeah. We shaking the table, things done changed. Your democratic ways from back in the days ain't the same. We woke to the place, same agenda, new faces. It's a new day now, yeah, it's FBA. MELROSE might shut down our Sharpton's conference. Spoke for FBAs, called out the nonsense. Your agenda to target, we see that plain. No checks, no vote.
No check,
We
no
state that
vote.
plain. We see our moves, give immigrants our wage. Policy.
All right, family, so here we are. I've shared a number of times that for years, for about 30 years, I did not vote. It was not until 2024 when Dr. Cornel West hopped in the race for president that I, re-registered to vote. We actually went around the city, got folks registered to vote also. But now in a more local race, we're in it to win it. And again, with the condition we are in here in Los Angeles, as we are being wiped out, we're being erased. As much as they talk about this or that, you know, folks are talking about affordability. It's more way beyond that for us. We're not any longer in a state of emergency. We are in a state of being erased. Daily, I'm hearing folks talk about they're about to move. They're getting evicted. Their home is being foreclosed. They're going out of business. Chef Maryland is one out of several. While we were out there organizing for her, there were about 3 other elderly individuals who reached out to us who were also in predatory situations who need help. So right now, Black LA is under many different attacks. So that's why we are asking folks to really consider voting for us. Right. You know, some folks say, you know, they saw that Tom Steyer video and, oh, y'all a little too wild and aggressive. But think about the climate we're in right now. All of this passive, going along with it, fake it to make it, has gotten us to where we are right now. And if these people get back into office, they're not about to switch up. Trump is being hardcore. He's being aggressive. We're seeing across the country there's a lot of aggression that's happening right now. So what do you really want in this position to fight for you, fight for our needs? And I'll fall back. Any other closes?
Well, like Billion said, the pandering, the soft shoeing, that stuff is done. You had Dr. Corey Jackson chumming it up, just cheesing it up right next to Tom Steyer. I was disgusted.
Looking like his adopted son.
I was disgusted.
Tom
It was disgusting.
Son.
Shoulder to shoulder. Just, you know, they bring out, you know, our beloved singers, Howard Hewitt, that comes entertain the crowd. He really don't know what's going on with Tom Steyer, all like that. You know, but that's where we got to educate ourselves and not allow ourselves to be used, because I'm not coming performing in nothing for you motherfuckers. Ever. So do your homework on these candidates. Vote Billion in. Keep your eyes on these sellouts, these bootlicks. Black power.
Every hour.
Every hour. Keep supporting the village. Keep coming on Sunday. We still got the market going. Come and support Food Revolution LA. We still got it going. We're here every day, really, but, you know, on Sundays, that's when it's time for you to come by and show up. You know, show up for somebody, show up for yourself, show up for the community.
That's right. And like I said, this is a revolution, y'all. This is a revolution right here, right now. It's a political, social revolution that's taking place right here in L.A., and it's just a pleasure. It's my pleasure. The Africatown Coalition is a part of it. We have William Billion Campbell, who is running for Assembly District 55. He is a part of the leadership of it over the last 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So we are 55. And so I just want to say thank everyone who has supported us in the past, and just know that when we get that seat, you can depend upon us. If you have backed us, you can depend upon us when that time comes, without a doubt.
Donate. Oh, yeah. Hashtag $ Blaction 365, BLACTION 365.
For the campaign. We all have a checkout date. You know what I'm saying? It's about what we do while we're alive. I don't mind being out front as long as the rest of us do what we're supposed to do. If they choose to do anything they've done to any of our other ancestors who stood up and fought, so be it. You know, that's an honor. However, I think the goal is always that we continue to move forward the work that is being done. And right now, the work that's being done is this campaign. This is just one of many battles we've been engaged in. You can come out and support us over these next few days to get others aware who have not voted yet. I think at this point it's too late for them to register. They had told us May 18th. One person suggested they think on election day you could register when you go to vote. I haven't found that yet, so at this point it may be too late to register. But there are several people we found election after election who are registered who just don't vote because they don't see an option. But we have found from our communities that we call the 1/3, Crenshaw District, the Hills, Jefferson Park, West Adams, Mid-City, predominantly us. We found a lot of support as we get out there and talk to people. We've also found support when we've gone into the other 2/3, Culver City, Palms, Pico Robertson, and in areas like that, because people are upset with what is and is not happening in this Democratic ran state. So what we are presenting is a break from the status quo, and we know that's why they're triggered. That's why they are alarmed, because again, we're about to break up this politician, the nonprofit back to politician circle of funding that is happening while the many more of us are being excluded and our needs are not being met. So this is a chance to finally, as Brandy was saying, to vote for some folks who have proven we're going to fight. We've been fighting. This is all we know is to fight. So, you know, between now and June 2nd, if you have your ballot, Also, if you're voting for us, it was pointed out to please share it, whether you share it with us, whether you post it on social media, and then you tag our page, Billionaires55, on Instagram, X, Facebook. Also, the donation link for this, because they're very particular in how we handle funds. So we have a particular account set up for this. Cash App is $Billionaires55 on PayPal, Billionaires55@yahoo.com. We appreciate everyone that's been donating, knocking on doors with us. Our brother Mike over here sitting with us. He been running around every morning, passing out flyers, talking to people. Miami, Micah been out there getting folks registered. The different folks, like I said, things has just been coming to us. Want to salute our brother Minister Hanan in the Jungles, had us on stage with Yo-Yo and Faith Evans. Our sister Kika, she had Lauryn Hill the day after Lauryn Hill was performing at the Grammy, gave us an opportunity to be out there. So it's just so much that is showing us that this 5-5 campaign is live, is all the way live. So again, we appreciate y'all. We thank y'all, Morris Media Studios, our brother Dion, our sister Poetess,
Onions, Corey,
Vicky, Vicky through the campaign party. It's just so many people doing so much that we know all this foolishness these clowns are doing. They just exposing themselves towards defeat. So we appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Black Power.
Every hour.
All right, LA, this is your brother Billion. March 25th of this year, 123 nations declared the transatlantic slave trade and racialized chattel slavery as the gravest crime against humanity, which includes the black erasure that's happening in real time across America today. So why is Assemblyman Isaac Bryan and the California Legislative Black Caucus ignoring this reality? For 3 years now, Isaac and the CLBC have refused to move forward real reparation bills for descendants of people who were emancipated from U.S. chattel slavery. That's not what our ancestors fought and died for. Voting for a lesser evil? Nah, evil is evil. People are being forced out of L.A. by the thousands, while Isaac and many elected officials focus on policies to fund their nonprofits. June 2nd, vote for the anti-black hate crime campaign to end the Zionist coup of American politics and economics. Vote for Billion. Visit Billionaires55.com for more information. Paid for by the committee to elect William Billion Campbell for California Assembly District 55.
Shaking the table. We shaking the table. Things done changed. Your democratic ways from back in the days ain't the same. We woke to the place, same agenda, new faces. It's a new day now, yeah, it's FBA. Melrose might shut down our Sharpton's conference. Spoke for FBAs, called out the nonsense. Your agenda, the target, we